Right lads, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Leeds 1, Leicester 1 full-time score from Elland Road in this basement battle clash. The relegation 6-pointer, if you will, between Leeds and Leicester, which moves them both up a point. Leeds 16th on 30 points, Leicester 17th on 29 points, Everton in 18th on 28 points, who do play Newcastle at home at Goodison Park on Thursday evening. Going to be an absolutely massive game for them, that one. But yeah, to be fair, I think it's a point that overall you will say benefits Leicester more. I'll get onto Leeds mainly in this video and their chances of survival. But just quickly on Leicester, I think that it is a point that they will definitely take, especially given that, you know, dramatic win against Wolves on Saturday. And I think we've reached a stage of the season now where it's like you more than likely just want to be winning your home games as much as possible, and if you can pick up draws in your away games, then happy days. And that's exactly what Leicester have done in this last 4 or 5 days, and especially in particular as well, you want to be doing it against the teams in and around you, which, like I said, is exactly what Leicester have done in the last 4 or 5 days, winning at home to Wolves on Saturday and getting a draw away from home against Leeds on this Tuesday evening clash at Elland Road. And yeah, I think it's one for them that they will take on the chin now. They'll take the point, move on to next week where they play Fulham away, who, yes, you could say are on the beach and obviously are without Alexander Mitrovic still for this game, but they did lose to Aston Villa tonight 1-0 at Villa Park, but have proved in recent weeks with victories over Leeds and against Everton at Goodison Park as well that they're not willing to, you know, just let go this season and down tools this season. So I think if Leicester can get a point from that one, and then they go into their next game then against Everton on the Monday Night Football the Monday afterwards, that is going to be once again the definition of a relegation 6-pointer. If Leicester can get 3 points in that one, I think they'll be looking good towards survival. They obviously won't be safe by then because they'll only have 33 points, but my god, it will do them the world of good, especially given the fact that Everton more than likely won't pick up anything against Newcastle on Thursday. I mean, I know it's at Goodison Park, I know they'll have the Goodison atmosphere and the whole relegation battle Everton, you know, atmosphere, which will probably come into play, but Newcastle, of course, are a very good team like we've seen on Sunday and do have Champions League ambitions of their own to fight for, so it will be a tough game for them. But yeah, I've gone on a little bit of a tangent. The bottom line is that Leicester fans will more than likely be way happier than Leeds fans with this result. And talking about Leeds, yeah, I think they'll be disappointed. I mean, in terms of how the game went, 1.7 expected goals for Leeds, 2.1 for Leicester City. Leicester had 59% of the ball to Leeds' 41%, and yeah, obviously both created 3 big chances as well, so pretty even in that sense. And to be fair, I think a draw on the whole scale of things probably was the fairest result. I think it was a fair reflection of the game. I think both sides created chances. Obviously, Yuri Tielemans had that absolutely beautiful goal inside the first 8 minutes, chalked off for a VAR decision, which was obviously correct in the end. Luis Sinisterra gets on the end of a really good ball in, an in-swinging ball from Jack Harrison, heads home to put Leeds 1-0 up, and from that sense you're thinking Leeds have something to hold on to, and they held on to it for the majority of the game up until the last 10 minutes when Jamie Vardy scores his first goal for as long as I can remember, to be honest. And yet Leicester City get themselves a massive point right at the end. And yet after that goal, to be fair, the game really livened up because there was chances for both sides. Patrick Bamford had a really good chance, Jamie Vardy had a goal disallowed from offside, and I think the game overall was played at a good intensity. I think one positive for Leeds, I think they really showed character tonight. I think they showed fight. I think they really showed overall that they wanted to win the game overall, even though they didn't do it. And I think for Leeds, right, I think the main thing for them under Javi Gracia this season has been the fact that, you know what, even in terms of Jesse Marsch as well when he was in charge of them, I think the biggest issue for Leeds is that I think they're decent in terms of the energy they show, in terms of how tenacious they are in the midfield battle. They've got no issues really in terms of transitioning from defence to attack and, you know, countering and being direct. But I think the main issue for Leeds is just a lack of quality up front and a lack of quality in the defence, which is obviously massively costing them, because unfortunately for Leeds, the 2 biggest things in football are A, scoring goals, and B, keeping goals out of your own goal, which Leeds have, you know, struggled with at both sides this season. And that's perfectly shown. Obviously Patrick Bamford's having a really poor season. Obviously Jorginho Rutter has come in and not impacted whatsoever, even though he is a young man trying to adapt to a new league or whatever, but it hasn't worked so far. And defensively, I mean, if you look at the overall defensive structure of Leeds, Illan Meslier, who's a keeper that I do rate but is having an absolutely torrid time this season, I think it's fair to say. Robin Koch, who's not been the best since he signed for Leeds. Liam Cooper, who's obviously probably not Premier League quality at this stage, I think it's fair to say. Junior Firpo, who, yeah, is liked by Leeds fans but strikes me as a little bit suspect defensively at times. Luke Ayling the same. I think he's more energetic and offers you that bit of bite and experience at the back, but I think in terms of his overall quality as a modern day fullback, he's probably not to the level that Leeds want ideally. I think in terms of their midfield with, you know, Roca, McKenna, Kenny, Tyler Adams, who's obviously injured right now. I think they're okay. I also think they're okay in terms of their wide players. If you think of Sinisterra, Somerville, Harrison, Ganonto, even Rodrigo, who plays out wide sometimes. But like I said, I just think it's the two basic things for Leeds, which is scoring goals, having quality to have a striker to finish off chances that they create, and to, you know, have a defensive structure that's going to be capable of keeping goals out at the other end, which I think have been two of the massive downfalls for Leeds. It sounds really obvious, but I think it's as simple as that for Leeds, really. So I think if Leeds were to stay up this season, I think they'd probably, you know, have two main priorities for the summer, which is obviously to get in a striker that can finish off chances if they're not going to rely on Rutter next season, and is to bring in, I was going to say a centre-back, but I think they need multiple defenders. I think Meilier's probably okay in terms of if you get a good back four in front of him, and obviously a fresh start next season, because I think his main issue has been confidence this season, especially in recent weeks. And I think if they were to get a right-sided centre-back next to someone like Max Vober, who's been, you know, decent since he's come into Leeds and obviously was missing tonight, and maybe if they upgraded in the full-back positions as well, because even Rasmus Christensen, since he joined last summer, hasn't really pulled any trees out of the ground and hasn't looked great overall. And I say if Leeds stay up, and to be honest, I'm pretty pessimistic about Leeds' chances of staying up, to be honest. I did a video last week where I predicted the relegation battle and overall decided who I think will go down, and I still stand by my decision, which if you want to go and check out that video, then do so right now and pause this video because I'm about to spoil it for you. But I think it'll be Southampton, I think it will be Nottingham Forest, and I think it will be Leeds, because yeah, I think Southampton, I think they will struggle to get above 3 teams overall, even though they have caused some teams problems, as we saw against Arsenal last Friday. I think Nottingham Forest are just on an absolutely horrendous run of form right now. They've hit a poor run of form at the wrong time, and obviously are, yep, like I said, haven't won in over 2 months or something like that. Ironically, their last win came against Leeds on the 5th of February. And if you're looking at it from the other side, right, I think Crystal Palace are probably safe. I think Wolves, after their massive 2-0 win over Crystal Palace tonight, I think they're just about safe now. I think Bournemouth will get over the line in the next few weeks. I think they're probably 1 win off it, and I think that they have some decent home games left against relegation rivals like Leeds. I think West Ham have just about hit form at the right time. They're unbeaten in their last 3 games, and obviously a massive win against Bournemouth away from home, winning 4-0 comprehensively. So I think West Ham will be safe as well. I think they're probably, you know, 1 or 2 more points off securing their survival. So I think it leaves Leeds, Leicester and Everton, and I just think in terms of those 3 teams, as I said, I keep saying on this channel, I think Leeds are the team that I trust the least in terms of being able to keep out goals and score goals themselves, like I said. And they seem to be a little bit of a soft touch. They seem to lack a little bit of leadership, a little bit of an ability to not collapse, and I think that's why you've seen Leeds collapse so many times this season, especially in their last 2 home games, where they obviously conceded 12 goals over the space of their last 2 home games, which is not acceptable at any level, I think it's fair to say. And I think Everton will be alright under Sean Dyche, even though they've got a tough enough run in. I think Sean Dyche will be able to work some miracles and pull off some shocks. Whether that starts on Thursday night or not remains to be seen, but I think he'll be able to keep Everton up by the skins of their teeth. I think Dean Smith will just about be able to keep Leicester up as well. They've got some decent games left as well, and have shown a lot of resilience in their last 2 games to pick up 4 points against relegation rivals as well. I mean, if you look at Leeds' next 2 games as well, they play Man City at the Etihad on Saturday at 3 o'clock. That's pretty much a write-off, to be honest. I think anything less than a 3 or 4-0 loss is probably a bonus in terms of their goal difference. I think that's the way they'll have to look at it. And then they play away against Bournemouth, which is going to be an absolute 6-pointer. Like I keep saying on this channel, there's so many 6-pointers between now and the end of the season, and I think that's going to be an absolutely massive one. And if they can even get a point from that one, I think that'll be seen as a positive result. I know they still have to play West Ham at home in the last few games of the season as well, so that'll be probably one they pinpoint for a potential 3 points down the line. So yeah, like I said, I struggle to find a reason why it won't be Leeds that join Nottingham Forest and Southampton in the Championship next season. And don't get me wrong, I hope I'm wrong, because I like Elland Road, I like Leeds as a team overall and the energy they play with, and I think the overall Premier League package is better with a team like Leeds in it, with the size of the club overall. But I just think in terms of those 3 teams I mentioned, Leeds, Leicester and Everton, I think Leeds are the team I trust the least. I've said it over the course of the season now, and I think they will, you know, just about miss out on survival. So yep, Leeds fans, let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on your chances of staving off relegation between now and the end of the season under Javi Gracia. Leave a like in the video if you did enjoy it, would be absolutely massively appreciated. And also if you could subscribe to the channel as well, that would also be hugely appreciated, because we are looking to hit 3,000 subscribers on this channel as soon as we possibly can. So every single one of you that hits that big fat juicy succulent subscribe button, you've been an absolute legend and help me get there as soon as bloody possible. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video, and yeah, chat to you later.